A few years ago when I went to cosmetology school, our class took a field trip to a big beauty show in a larger city which was about 2 hours away from our school. The show had demonstrations of the latest hair and nail techniques, and we got to see experts in the field sharing their skills. We split into small groups to share hotel rooms and save some money, so I ended up staying with 3 other girls in one room, and after we checked into the hotel and unpacked, we were all excited because it felt like a fun sleepover before the big hair and fashion show the next day. To celebrate, we decided to go out and grab some drinks and snacks. We wandered around the city chatting and laughing and found a nice spot to eat and relax before heading back to the hotel for the night. When we got back to the hotel about an hour later, it was already late and a few of the girls were a bit tipsy, but we quietly went up to our room. I didn't have anything to drink because I was almost 21 and couldn't order from the bar yet. We were just relaxing in the room planning for the next day when around 11 p.m. the phone in our hotel room suddenly rang. It startled us because, having stayed in hotels many times, I don't remember the hotel phone ever ringing at this late hour. We all looked at each other confused. I decided to answer and said, "Music. Hello." Since this was a few years ago, I can't recall every detail of the conversation, but I'll share what I remember. A man on the other end said we hadn't paid for our room and that one of us needed to come down to the lobby immediately to settle the bill. We were all confused because we had definitely paid for the room. We had all pulled our money and given it to Molly, and even I watched her pay when we checked in. The hotel wouldn't have given us room keys if we hadn't paid, and on top of that it seemed really unprofessional to call us at 11 p.m. especially when we might be sleeping. We were all puzzled and started to wonder if something was wrong or if it was some kind of mistake, so I told him we had paid for the room and suggested we could handle any billing issues in the morning, but the man insisted that someone had to come down right away as our room wasn't paid for. He said we wouldn't be allowed to stay the night if someone didn't come down and pay immediately. Honestly, I can be a bit paranoid, but the situation felt so wrong that I wasn't going to let any of us go down to the lobby that night, so I firmly told him that we would stay in our room until someone from the hotel came to remove us if there was a problem. This made him even more frustrated. He raised his voice and insisted that someone had to come down right away or there would be consequences, though he didn't say what they would be. I figured if this was really someone from the hotel, they would come to our room or we would deal with it tomorrow. My classmates were confused and asked what happened. I told them I got a really bad feeling from the call and explained what went down. They all agreed that we had paid and that it's unusual for a hotel front desk to call a room after 11 p.m. Nobody came to kick us out. In the following morning when we went to check out, we asked the person at the front desk about the call from last night and if we needed to make a payment. They had no idea what we were talking about and insisted that the front desk would not have called us that late. We all looked at each other feeling really freaked out and decided to leave the hotel quickly. The whole situation was so unsettling that we wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. I forgot about it pretty quickly after because nothing bad happened and we didn't get kicked out, but now looking back it seems really scary. Who made that call and why did they want one of us to come down to the lobby alone in the middle of the night? It still gives me chills to think about it. My friend moved to a new apartment about a week ago after finishing college, so I planned to stay overnight because we were going to a mutual friend's birthday and it would be too late for me to go home afterward. Her place isn't fully set up yet since she's still moving in, but when we arrive I told her I felt a strange energy, but I didn't think about it much. For the rest of the night we spent time together, enjoy a nice evening, and had some laughs. before heading to bed. Then around 2 a.m. we both settled down on the same queen-sized bed, but I woke up at 2:30 a.m. to her screaming in my face. She apologized, saying she got scared as she's not used to sleeping next to someone after living in dorms for so long. I sleepily calmed her down. She apologized again and we both turned over and went back to sleep. I often have very vivid dreams, mostly nightmares, because of my medication, but that night I dreamed about a creepy clown slowly poking its head through her closet door. The room in the dream looked exactly the same as it did in real life, which made it feel even more real and unsettling. The strange part is my friend woke up again in the middle of the night. Then she started mumbling about her own dream, saying she saw a clown or some evil figure calling her to the closet. She said she felt scared and didn't want to go near it. I was too sleepy at the time to think about it, so I went back to sleep. Later, when there was a bit of light in the room, probably around 5 a.m. I woke up and saw a short person in a blue t-shirt hurrying out of her bathroom. I was still groggy and confused, unsure of who they were or how they got in, but I was too tired to react. Still feeling very tired, I thought it was just one of her roommates and went back to sleep. We both woke up around 8:30 or 9, and I teased her a little about talking in her sleep, but then without me saying anything she told me she had a dream about a clown, and described exactly what I had seen in my own dream. At this point, I was really creeped out, but I thought maybe hearing her talk about the dream in the middle of the night made me have a similar dream. Then she went into the bathroom to brush her teeth and noticed that both doors, one leading to the hallway and the other to her bedroom, were open. She panicked because she remembered closing them before, so I casually said, "Oh, it was probably your roommate who got up to use the bathroom." But then she told me that none of her roommates were there because they were signing the lease in September. By now we were both really scared. She went to check the patio door and found it unlocked and open, even though she always locks it carefully every day. Just so you know, she doesn't have any security cameras. Nothing valuable was stolen, and we thought maybe a homeless person could have broken in, but all the food was still in the kitchen. My name is Izzy, and this happened to me and my best friend Elise. At the time of this story, we were in the 6th grade, which makes it even more scary. My first class that year was language arts. To help you understand the story, you need to know a bit about the layout of the school. When you walk into the room, you see 4 groups of desks arranged in circles, one in each corner of the room. The computer board is at the front of the room. Next to it is a library corner, which has a group of desks nearby. And I sat at those desks with 4 other people, but only 2 of them are important for this story. I don't talk to these people anymore, so I'll use nicknames to keep things private. My friend D sat right next to me. He was a big guy and almost always serious. H was very quiet and didn't have many friends, so normally he never really joined in with the group and just read what we had to do. But on this particular day, H wasn't reading when he was supposed to and was getting away with doing nothing but playing games on his Chromebook. D was getting sick of H not doing anything, so he stood up, walked over to H, grabbed his Chromebook and said, "What are you doing on this thing?" When he looked at the screen, he freaked out. I thought he would show us what was on the screen, but he didn't. I felt annoyed that he didn't show us until I told him what it was, but my frustration quickly went away when he turned the screen toward us. H had several tabs open, all showing pictures of human bones or organs. That might not sound very scary, but as kids it really freaked us out. It wasn't just the images that scared me, it was the look on H's face. He was smiling, but it wasn't a normal smile. He was smiling like he was planning something, or maybe he was just really proud that we saw what he'd been looking at. It was really gross, and he looked so happy. I felt a chill when his eyes looked at me. I leaned forward and told H, "You need to do the work with the rest of us and stop being so creepy now. I really wish I hadn't said that it wasn't just that he stopped smiling almost right away, it was that he never stopped staring at me. I was so focused on how it was looking at me that I hardly reacted when the teacher yelled at me. She must have heard me call H a creepy freak and decided to talk to the group. After our teacher finished talking to us, H began deleting his search history. We just watched him do it because none of us wanted to get in trouble again. After a little while of us all looking at Age, we went back to reading the book. LL and I didn't have any classes together until after lunch, so when we sat down at our lunch table I told Ely what had happened. She listened carefully and told me not to worry about these things. Then I remember she was coming over to my house for the night as her mom couldn't leave her alone while her little brother had surgery that night. Before we knew it, we were heading to my house. We got on the school bus and started talking about our days and what we were going to do. Since Elise was staying over, the bus stopped at our stop and we got off walking towards my house. When we got inside, we took off our jackets and kicked off our shoes. I had a dog and we were supposed to take him outside, but we forgot he was barking in his crate downstairs. But we didn't think much of it. Dogs usually get excited when their owners come home, and he probably needed to use the bathroom since he'd been in his crate all day. At least she took off her shoes before me. I began walking down the stairs but suddenly stopped. Then she yelled as loud as I've ever heard her. What the heck? She didn't move, just stood there on the stairs. Her loud voice scared me, so I looked in her direction. I just saw something move outside my dog's crate, but it quickly went out of sight. Elise was really shocked because all she said was, "Quickly get something to defend ourselves." I listened to her, but I made a really silly choice for a weapon. In my mind I thought a pillow would be a good weapon. Yes, a pillow. Luckily, Ely was much smarter than me. She grabbed a baseball bat from my brother's bedroom and went downstairs. She didn't tell me what we were looking for. We checked everywhere in the house, but we didn't find anything. Whatever scared Elise wasn't there. We both felt really relieved when we didn't find it, but soon I understood why she was so scared when she told me. I looked down there and there was someone sitting or lying on the floor playing with one of your dogs toys. Just hearing that made me lose any calmness I had left. When my parents came home, I don't think we told them what happened, but even if we did, I don't think they'd believe us. And just when I thought the story couldn't get any worse, the next day at school when I walked into homeroom, H came up to me and said, "Hey, I thought you should know that I really enjoy crawling around in your basement," and then calmly walked away. I don't know why or what he was really doing in my house, but I really hope he doesn't come back because my dog isn't a scared little puppy.